Welcome to Heal into Happy. I invite you to take an adventure with me into your very own universe as I guide you to go within, release your fears, and become empowered to create a life you love. I am your host, Lark Allen. My intention is to help you shine a light on everything that is keeping you from being truly free. You can expect this healing journey to be filled with love, laughter, clarity, and fun. Are you ready to take a leap of faith? Let's go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to be back with my soul sister, Stasia Bliss, and this is going to be our trifecta. We've had two other podcasts that have been unbelievably enlightening and yummy, and now we are going into a subject that I love so much and I've grown so much around, and that is the subject of love. And this will be launching in February, which we all as a collective feel into February being the month of love. Before we get started in our conversation, let's just take some deep breaths together. Right now, I just lit an incense that is named love. And I have some of my favorite crystals and I have some of my favorite things all around me. And let's just drop into this now moment and anchor in, allowing the floor wherever we are to hold us with love, and realizing that in every now moment, with every step that we take and every move that we make, that we are being loved, that we are being cherished and held by Sophia Gaia, and being celebrated and protected with angels all around us. And we're just feeling into that and being really open to receive the conversation that Stasia and I are about to have, whether you are already having a really deep self-care practice or whether this is all new information to you. Just allowing it with whatever resonates to really come through, and seeds of awareness and pearls of wisdom to be gathered along the way that can plant extra love, happiness, and abundance within your heart forevermore. And Stasia taught me something really cool. Instead of saying Om, let's call all of ourselves back home. So do you want to do a little home for 3 times together?
Yes, yes.
Home. We're calling all of the parts of us back home. We're allowing ourselves to be filled with the love of all of the parts of us that are now. Welcome, 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 Stasia.
Thank you, Lark. So honored to be with you again. Thank you for having me back.
Yes, and I'm so excited. I'll be on your podcast soon, and I will put the link in my website, Heal into Happy too. So yeah, let's just free flow, share about love.
Okay. Well, I love the conversation about love. You always hear people say love is the most powerful force in the universe, but I think few of us really hone in and realize how true that really, really, really is. So maybe we can just slow way down into what is this love?
Yes, it is everything that we are, and we end up getting to the core of it. When I was thinking about all of the sessions I've had with you and all of the amazing things that we've co-created together, what is it all about? And at the core of it, it is about truly loving ourselves and feeling into how powerful we are and how loved we are and how we are loved. How you teach so much about integration and finding beautiful things even in the hardest things that we've been through, and appreciating how it's taught us. That's something so powerful that you brought into my conscious awareness.
Such an important beautiful thing that I've learned too. I'm so happy to share it with people that when I pull back into the core of myself, and what I love to do with people is like remembering, like we have a remembrance in ourselves, in our heart, in the core of us that knows where we came from. And love to me, like it really is like this pristine vibration, this expansive resonance, this just complete oneness, yes, like vibration that is the creative power of the universe. And like when that explodes out into creation, it takes all these different forms in order to experience love in all these ways. And so we get into this human form, like all these things that we experience that are like we call good or bad or up and down. And it's really like these various textures, I feel like, that afford us the opportunity to feel the love, like to not feel the love and then to find the love, like to have the love be hidden and then revealed to us. And our job, I guess you could say, or our like adventure that we're on, the treasure hunt of returning to that home, that home is like, how can I discover that love is here too? It's here too. It's here too. It's the core of it all.
Yes. And realizing and understanding that when we really look at anything that has been what we've maybe labeled as traumatic and we let get trapped in our body and, you know, in our psyche and all of the things, when we really look at it, it ends up being that thing that breaks us open more to feel more, to be more raw, vulnerable, to experience like a, you know, like a bungee cord of, you know, going into the depths of something to then come back with so many pearls of wisdom, and it expands us. And
yes,
that's really something that I feel like as we're all healing into happiness, really, you know, just journaling about and, you know, having a guide like you to help us to see all of that. And, you know, your mentorship is so valuable to me in that way. It's just so healing to know, to, you know, to start looking at and remembering, oh, wow, that did help expand me to this whole new level of a human.
Definitely. Well, I feel like we're all here to learn how to be both human and divine at the same time.
Yes.
So we're this divine essence, like plummeted into the depths and density of human form. And like a lot of spiritual teachings are like, oh, let's hurry and scramble and get away from these human forms and back to spirit. But actually, like the trick is to get off the cycle of reincarnation, in my viewpoint, is to really like know that these forms are just as much a part of the equation as the divine part, that we're meant to spiritualize, to like bring that love into every cell of our body and actually experience what it's like to have divinity inhabiting this matter, you know, this body. And so like we weren't taught that. We came into this reality knowing that like we were this free, happy love baby. And then all of the stuff that we take on in our childhood, you know, we could call it the traumas and the conditioning and the programming, but to give it a more like positive slant, I think actually a lot of that stuff we experienced helped us to really like get in our body, even if in a traumatic way at the beginning. It really gave us like a sense of form, like the heaviness of humans, so that later when we have the tools, like you're offering to people on your shows and I'm offering to people in sessions, and many people are, when we get the tools and realize, okay, now what do I do with all this heavy stuff? Then we learn that the art of integration, that we need human and divine. We need the light and the heavy, the black and the white, the yes and the no, to be actually complete, to have the whole equation.
Yes, 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 yes.
And this is, to me, what I feel like the ascension is. Like the empowerment is that there's no part of the self left behind. It's the whole package. And this new reality that we're creating, this heaven on earth, it isn't where none of that darkness exists anymore. Like that's maybe the wrong way to go about it. But after we've integrated everything black and white, then we aren't even playing the duality game anymore. Like we're actually in a huge transition point for the story of Earth, the story of each of us, that we're moving from this very highly polarized, dualistic viewpoint, if you will, to a unified field, to this love field again, this place where suddenly I believe the feelings that used to feel like bad and sad and like, the polarity into the darkness, suddenly we get to experience it more like it's an artistic creation. Like you need the blacks and the whites and all the shades to make a beautiful painting. You need the bass notes and the high notes to make a beautiful symphony. Like when you understand that they're part of the creation, we suddenly can become much more masterful with how we play with these things.
Yes. Yes. I mean, just being able to sit with all of the different parts of us, all of the different experiences, and just love it all.
Yes. Love it all. Mm-hmm. Love it all. And what a beautiful opportunity we're getting given in reality right now to just show us all the stuff that's been really hard to love, even in the world, right? So it's like the ultimate test and quiz. Like, can you really be of love? Can you really be of the light? Can you really bring love to all of this too?
Mm-hmm. And with that comes this sovereignty that brings loving boundaries and things like that, because you protect your inner temple, you protect your space and all of that. So it's not about
yes.
Oh, I just, I love you so you can walk all over me or take advantage of me or steal from me. It's becoming the queen and king of each of our domains, and then lovingly showing what true sovereignty looks like, and so that you can rule your kingdom in a beautiful way, and we can gather together and commune in a way that feels holy and sacred and feels good in each moment of you.
Oh, I just want all the listeners to just feel their body after everything you just said, because I just got so many chills and confirmation. Yes, that's exactly what real divine love does. We have lived through, I feel like an immature version of love as humans, we call it human love or whatever, but we were learning to have different types of love in our journey back to wholeness. But yes, this love that is authentic and sovereign does recognize, hey, there's an honoring that has to take place in this paradigm where love rules, and it is that holy, kingship and queenship that you just spoke about. And I like to imagine as someone wakes up, kind of like, Cinderella had the magic go all around her and the beautiful dress and the crown or whatever. This is sort of the experience that we each have when we awaken, is we get this opportunity to allow ourselves to be crowned as the sovereign in our life, as the king, queen of our reality. And what a cool thing that even the era that we're in, this Corona era, this Corona time does mean the crowning, we are at the coronation point.
Yes.
And it does require us to get down on one knee in a different way, get down into an honoring stance that we have learned how to do it, learned how to honor the self and love the self and appreciate and set boundaries for the self to be able to honor who we know that we are.
Yes. And that just made me have this visualization of the Kundalini energy and the divine, sacred, feminine and masculine, and then the inner child within all of us, being so in tune and loved and happy, and all of the parts are seen and heard and appreciated.
Yes.
Another huge thing that, you really helped me understand is part of the process.
Yeah, definitely. It's a process, right? It's a process of taking each piece and like bringing it back to the heart and holding it dear. Like when we look outside of us and see things we don't like, the most grown-up thing we can do is turn within ourselves and go, okay, so where do I do that? And like, how can I love that part of me too? So it doesn't have to show up in this like obtuse way in my reality. It only is doing that because I have sort of neglected taking the time to love that part of me too. But when we do, this great homecoming occurs. And I feel this is what catalyzes the big changes in our outer reality, is when we truly, truly like come home to ourselves and we take the time to look at all the pieces, look at how our inner child is doing. We can't just say, oh yeah, I had a terrible childhood and this happened, but I'm fine, I'm over it. Like that isn't all of it. It's not the whole piece, right?
No, that would be ignoring your inner child that is wanting to come out of the darkness and into the light of your awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be able to be brave right now is to sit with that inner child and hear what that inner child has to say and validate all of the fears and trauma or misunderstandings that happened with an awareness of now, an adult standpoint, if you will, and be able to embrace your inner child like maybe you never were embraced when you were little. And this is the hard work that is actually so rewarding when we do it, but it does take doing it.
And that's where the healing can really happen, because no matter what your relationship is with your human parents, you can decide to take over all of the care of that little child that needed to be heard and cared for, yes, and go on fun play dates. And you can be the best version of the mother that you always craved and the best version of the father that you always wanted to be able to run to and be comforted by within yourself. And, that's where the play dates come in, and the journaling and the forgiveness, and, just taking up and saying, okay, I am here. What do you have to say? And I'm going to be both of those for you. And that's yes, a beautiful thing to be committed to do.
Yeah, not only can we do that, it's essential for our spiritual development, for our maturation process, that we do not lay all the burdens on the generations before us. Their job is also to do that in themselves, and it often is the younger generation that shows the older generation how to do this work. Because that is our mission at this time, if you will. That's what the planets aligned to say that this generation was doing, is to healing the old wounds of the ancestors, allowing and preparing the way for the new earth to arise, the heaven and earth to arise. And, before you can open the temple, so to speak, you have to make sure the grounds are clean. The work that I do with people is like, hey, like what's going on in the inner realm? Like what cleanup needs to be done? What inner loving needs to be done so that you can be your most powerful, divine, sovereign, brilliant self that you're here to be. Because when we're all doing that, wow, what a different world that we're going to live in. And personally, I believe I'm here for that. Like I'm here to see a world of empowered people working together in harmony with the planet and the divine and each other. And so, yeah, that's my most exciting vision for humanity.
I've heard so many different places that we are the generation that the elders and the Hopis and everybody celebrated that was going to come to pass, because we would be the ones to be able to heal, be able to integrate, to be able to free, to be able to shift. And it all totally makes sense, because we are going into the golden age of miracles. But sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, wow, how cool is this? Like a lot of times we're like, oh my God, how did I end up, being here in this lifetime? And it's the hugest get to, and just flipping the feeling when we look at the news, or, first of all, turn off the news. You're looking at anything and you happen to catch it. No, just say, no, thank you. I know that I'm here in the most epic time. And that's why mainstream needs to make it seem like the worst time, because it's actually the most divine, supported, amazing, magical time to be a human. I mean, we're literally going to have the opportunity, if we're ready and available to it, to be able to see the elementals, the unicorns coming back, the fairies, the dragons, it's like we're living in a fairy tale,
and our galactic families returning. Like we're living at a very, very pivotal time. I agree. It's so exciting. And the most exciting thing is actually occasionally looking at the news and realizing how fast that storyline is falling apart.
Yeah.
And that structure is like giving up the ghost. Like we're watching a slow motion death of an old paradigm that has been going on for so long. In a way, like there's a bit of deep, what is the word? It's like a balm almost, if you allow it to be, that at least for me, like watching for so long, like when is this going to happen? It's like this sweet, slow release of the old, like losing its grasp on the consciousness of humanity, like one finger at a time. And surely it has to be in this way, like in this time speed that it's going, because everyone gets a chance to jump on and understand what's going on and release it, like do so in a way that's not harmful to their person, like holding on to a system that tells you what to do is very disempowering. And so like when we are taking our power back, we've got like, it's a gentle process. It's like removing a bunch of cords and tethers and strings that were like guiding you before. And now you have to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
We're not totally by yourself, but that's where we realize we've got like the bigger love behind us, right?
Yes. So you are able to see people through, like, everything that we've ever done together is always through Zoom or messages and things like that. So you're able to connect with people wherever they are in the world. So I really would love my listeners to know that. I have actually a lot of listeners in India.
Awesome. So, yeah, I have worked with people all over the world in many, many, many countries. I love to work with all types of people. So I'm so grateful for the technology that's available, that I can connect with you anywhere you are in the world, anytime, and we can see each other live and in person. And yeah, I always record those calls so you have record. Oftentimes these sessions bring in so much that a person doesn't always remember exactly everything that came through. So again, like gratitude for the technology that allows those to be kept, because it wasn't always like that way back in the day when I first began working with people. So yes, on Zoom. I do work in person if I'm in your city or you're in my city. That's always a fun thing. Occasionally I will have a retreat. And then I also just launched an app that is a virtual coaching app. I offer it as an additional support to clients that I'm working with, or, people that want to kind of see what it is that I do or I would do with you. There's lots of different practices and exercises and 6-week challenge or 40-day practice to kind of get you in the groove and get in touch with your body. Stuff that I would ask my clients to do anyway to help them get in tune with themselves. So I'm excited to have that available as well.
Yes. Tell us the app information.
Yeah. So if you're interested in checking that out, you want to go to the webpage blissme.passion.io, and that will take you to the place where you can decide what you would like to enroll in, either a subscription where you get access to many different things monthly for a certain price, or you can just pick a program that you would like to have lifetime access to and purchase it there. And then from the webpage, you push the little link on there and it takes you to the App Store, where now the Passion Education app becomes your Bliss Me app. So then it's available on any Android or iPhone to just get on and do your daily practices right there at the touch of a button. Audios, videos, you've used some of it, Lark.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I love it. And I'm so happy that you've put all of that in one space for all of us to utilize. We all need support. It doesn't matter, what level you're at. The biggest masters have mentors too. And
Oh, definitely.
to be able to go deeper and to be able to, just feel loved and supported is priceless, So yeah, I love that you have that app for people to start getting to know you and start practices to, it's like, having a coach where you're going to help them with the beginning things and then being able to talk to you one-on-one. So priceless.
Yeah, it really, thank you. It's been so great to have this technology as well, because it really does take some pressure off me, because I can focus on the one-on-one sessions on what you're dealing with right now, and then offer you practices that you can support yourself. And they're already pre-recorded. They're already dialed in, like they're right there at the touch of a finger. And that's just really helpful to me as a coach. And there's just more and more and more that's added to the app coming up. So many things to share. So I'm excited to have the expanding capacity that this particular app offers. So
yeah, and sometimes you just want to do like a yoga nidra at 2 a.m, and you wouldn't be available for that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or you're like, what is that thing that's going to help me open my hips? Oh yeah, let me get on here, and of course, I love to be able to be available for my clients to message me. But yes, like sometimes you just want to get on and find something, and there it is. So super, super awesome, helpful. It's really helped distill and streamline. I've kind of had stuff all over the web for a while. So it's great to have it all in one place.
Oh, and then what's your YouTube channel? This is all in show notes, but I love that you put out a lot of content on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so you can just find me, Stasia Bliss, on YouTube. And yeah, I try to do some videos on what's going on with the energies. I'm starting to get into sharing like how to do some shadow work on world events, which I think is really important right now. And just whatever kind of pops up for me that I feel like needs to be shared. So I'd love it if you followed me on YouTube. Absolutely. You can also find me on my website, which is blissinthehouse.com. And that kind of gives a little bit of an idea of what some one-on-one sessions might be like, or if somebody wants a reading or their astrology chart read or cards read of any kind. That can be really insightful sometimes when you just want a little bit of direction on what's next. And then for me, it really helps me to take a look at where somebody is currently and how to like help better guide them and what's the next step that might be the most supportive to their empowerment journey.
Oh, that reminded me of your family mandala.
Yes. The other website.
Yeah.
The other website is thefamilymandala.space. And that is a growing like collective of other awesome individuals, including yourself, Lark, that are part of who I consider my core team of other healers and other guides that are all together on one site. You can find their links if you go to thefamilymandala.space. Find all the people that I just love the most that are also my guides and my coaches and people that I access for health and healing. All my favorite people are on there. So I love to share that as well, because I think right now it's just a big team effort to guide one another into the new. And the more of us that are teamed up doing that, the better.
Yes. Well, it has been such a pleasure to have all of these times together forevermore to be out there. And I just love you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Oh, I'm so honored that I get to be here with you again. I'm so grateful to be in the ears of your audience for a moment. And so I just want to say that I just send love and blessings to all of you and let all the listeners know that you're doing it. You're doing an amazing job. Keep on keeping on. And there are those of us here to support you whenever you need it. And yeah, we're doing this together. So I'm just honored to be here with you all.
Yes. We are all in this together. And there's so many more of us than anyone would have you believe. And so please know that we're always wrapping our angel wings around one another, and we're living this life wing to wing as the divine, sacred, magnificent earth angels that we are.
Oh, so true.
So we are
Thank
offering
you.
everyone so much love and so much light. Until next time, have a beautiful week.
Blessings.
Thank you for joining me today on Heal into Happy. My prayer is that you have gained more insight into your healing journey and that you are one step closer to loving yourself more fully in this now moment. And if you could do me a favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. My passion is empowering others on their healing journey, and with your review, you may help others struggling to heal find this message. Be sure to visit me at healintohappy.com for past episodes and more ways to connect with me. Also, please always remember that I am offering you so much love and light as I celebrate the divine sovereign being that I see in you.